on the debut of The Early Show with Bryant Gumbel and Jane Clayson. I'm Julie Chen. Hope you have a great day.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online at keyword CBS News.
Experience you can trust. CBS News.
5 of the top detectives in America and the one incredible case that brought them together.
He's so blatantly innocent. It's scary.
Is this dream team good enough to save a man's life?
The stakes are as high as they get.
Impossible Mission, a 48 hours mystery tonight.
The address is CBS.
For years, you've counted on MCI for long-distance savings. Now MCI savings are coming to local phone service in homes across New York.
You mean MCI offers local service?
That's right. And if you call this number and choose MCI for all your local and long-distance services, you'll get an extra $5 off your bill every single month.
$5 a month. That's $60 a year.
I've been with Bell Atlantic forever, and they never gave me a deal like that.
It's really cool. My parents just let me get my own phone, but I have to pay the bills myself.
You get great local rates, and you can get MCI long distance for just 5 cents a minute every evening and all weekend long. That's our lowest rate ever.
So you save on local and long distance calls. Plus you get $60 off. You know, savings like that really add up.
Even I can afford it, and I'm doing this on my allowance.
MCI local service has arrived in New York, and so have great savings.
Remember, to sign up and get this exclusive offer, you must call 1-800-MCI-LOCAL.
Monday, wedding tips for the bride-to-be on Martha Stewart Living.
It's time for News 2 this morning.
Searchers off the coast of Massachusetts worked through the night on the grim task of finding the remains of EgyptAir Flight 990. Good morning. It is 5 o'clock on this Monday, November 1st. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Cindy Hsu.
And I'm Pablo Guzman. We have live team coverage of the air tragedy. First, a quick check of the weather forecast. Here's Ira.
Pablo, Cindy, good morning, and a good morning to you. We're going to see our day quite sunny today and quite warm. Highs in the upper 60s, right around 70 in the city. We'll have your full forecast for the week ahead coming up. Stay with us, Cindy.
Ira, thank you. Our top story, the tragic crash of EgyptAir Flight 990. Investigators say there will be no quick answers to what caused the plane to suddenly drop out of the sky. The search for debris is underway off the coast of Nantucket, and that's where News 2 reporter Michael O'Looney joins us live with the latest. Michael.
Cindy, the headline this morning is that the Coast Guard recovered 2 of the plane's emergency chutes overnight. There are no reports that any survivors or any additional bodies were found. The air search will get underway at first light. Federal authorities are now trying to determine if the crash of EgyptAir Flight 990 was the result of mechanical failure or terrorism.
We know there has been a loss of life. The Coast Guard, supported by the Navy, is conducting extensive search and rescue operations in the area. The effort will continue for as long as necessary.
Cairo-bound Flight 990 with 199 passengers and a crew of 18 took off from JFK at 1:19 a.m. The Boeing 767 was flying at 33,000 feet at 1:47 a.m. when the control tower lost radio contact. The plane then began a terrifying nosedive, falling to 19,100 feet in just 24 seconds. 2 minutes later, Flight 990 dropped off the radar screen and seconds later slammed into the ocean about 52 miles south of Nantucket.
Modus operandi is to continue in the search and rescue phase until we're convinced that there is no chance to find survivors, and right now we're still in that search and rescue phase.
Rescue crews have recovered at least 1 body, and authorities are now working a debris field spread out over 49 square miles.
We have located debris in the form of seats, parts of seats, life jackets, 2 partially inflated life rafts, which show no sign of burn marks or any other damage, but were not completely inflated.
The Port Authority's Robert Kelly warns this will be a difficult operation.
This is not going to be an easy investigation. This is going to require an awful lot of recovery of debris and materials from the ocean bottom.
Flight 990 was carrying passengers from 5 countries, including 131 Americans. The missing include 2 infants and 54 people from a Boston-based tour group. The crash comes on the heels of a September 24th threat against EgyptAir, warning that someone was going to place a bomb on one of their planes flying out of Los Angeles or New York. At this point, there is no indication that this disaster is related to that threat.
Although there is no indication of any criminal activity at this particular point in time, our protocol is with the Coast Guard and NTSB.
The U.S. Navy ship the Grapple and Navy divers will be joining the search later today. Live on Nantucket, Michael O'Looney, News 2.
Thank you very much, Michael. For the family members of crash victims, there's really almost nothing else to do, unfortunately, but wait for word about their loved ones. News 2 reporter Emily Francis is live at the Ramada Inn at the airport with that part of the story. Emily?
Good morning, Pablo. Grief counselors have been trying to comfort the families all night here at the Ramada Plaza Hotel. And this morning we're learning more about the identities and the lives of some of the people aboard EgyptAir Flight 990. Among them, at least 3 people from New Jersey, the parents of a Long Island man, and many of them going on their dream vacation. One story we have learned about this morning is 76-year-old New Jersey native Richard Brokaw and his 72-year-old wife, Virginia Chaplin, recently got married after both of them lost their spouses. They were going on a trip down the Nile for their first anniversary. It's a gut-wrenching scene that seems like a deja vu. Families breaking down in hysterics after hearing that their loved ones were on the ill-fated EgyptAir Flight 990. At the same time, an army of counselors mobilized at the Ramada Inn to handle the 16 grief-stricken families.
There's been a family assistance room set up where Red Cross counselors and where city officials can meet with families one by one to offer our support and to talk with them about what they're experiencing.
We tried to help them identify some of the people. We tried to get information about people that maybe weren't on the airline. Sometimes if the mayor asks, it happens a little faster.
There are now faces to this tragedy. On the left, 28-year-old Frami Makari. He was returning to his homeland after visiting his sister in Queens. We have also learned that the pilot has local roots.
His sister lives here. I saw her inside, and she's in great pains, and we pray for her, his soul, and for her to be patient.
We know that people on the plane came from all over the country and around the world, and also from a variety of religious backgrounds. Leaders of all faiths offered their comfort to survivors.
Most people are very quiet and subdued, and their pain is written on their faces, and they're just waiting. Some of them just seem a little shell-shocked.
The only thing we have is, as a Muslim would say, we are to God, and we are going back to God.
As of last night, there were 16 families here at the Ramada Plaza Hotel, but a Red Cross spokesman tells me this morning that more families have been coming in throughout the night. Now, EgyptAir will fly the families up to Providence, Rhode Island, where the search and rescue headquarters is. Also this morning at 7 a.m., the mayor and other officials will hold a press conference to provide the latest information. Of course, we will bring that to you later on this morning. Reporting live from the Ramada Plaza Hotel, Emily Francis, News 2.
Thank you very much, Emily. EgyptAir has set up a special telephone number for those who may have had a loved one aboard Flight 990. The EgyptAir Passenger Assistance Hotline is 1-800-243-1094. Now, this number is only for anyone with relatives aboard Flight 990. That number again, 1-800-243-1094.
Joining us now by telephone is Glenn Rosenholm from the U.S. Coast Guard. Good morning, Mr. Rosenholm.
Good morning.
Could you please give us the latest on the search?
6 Coast Guard cutters continue to search the waters of the debris field. They've been searching throughout the night. They've found mostly small debris in the area. However, they did also find and recover 2 inflatable evacuation slides believed to be from the plane. They found some personal mementos and some small, what appear to be, pieces of the plane that may, measure up to 2 feet by 2 feet square or so.
Mr. Rosenholm, we know that this is a wide area. Just how wide an area is it that you're searching?
Well, the debris field itself, last I heard, was about 49 miles square altogether. So you're talking about like 7 miles on a side, 7 by 7. The whole area that we've been searching is considerably larger, and we've gone over it many, many times. I think right now we've searched well over 7,800 square miles.
Okay. You know, I think so many of us are familiar more with TWA Flight 800, what we all went through for that. Can you compare this search and recovery to that one, just to give us some perspective?
They're both very big operations. From what I overheard somebody earlier say is in the TWA operation, they had about 3 debris fields that were pretty well scattered. This one has 1. The weather during this operation is probably not quite as placid as the one that they had for TWA, but because it was identified, the debris field was spotted quick, and that it's relatively small, I think it is going to help their recovery operations, at least for things that are on the water, the surface of the water, help them to recover objects and things that they may be able to use in the investigation that much quicker.
Mr. Rosenholm, and pardon me, I don't know if you're a civilian or military employee, so I don't know if I should address you by rank.
Oh, that's fine. It's Senior Chief Rosenholm.
All right, thank you for that. And sir, let me ask you, if I may. I know it's early yet, and the debris that you have found is just being brought back for examination. But anything yet? Have you been able to learn anything yet at all from the debris that would explain, at least point towards what may have happened here?
No, I mean, at this point, we're still considering it a rescue operation. Each time that we go through a batch of searches, we look at the data that we've had so far to see how much saturation we had over a search area, to see if there's anything that we might have missed. Right now, we haven't quite exhausted all hope. However, it is starting to look, very dim that there may be somebody out there still alive at this point. The debris that we found, we're actually acting as kind of an operations support arm for the National Transportation Safety Board in their investigation in this respect. We don't generally have the scientists on board normally. We have the people that can bring the stuff on board, and we bring it back to the scientists and the people that do these types of things so that they can do a thorough investigation.
Well, thank you very much for explaining your part of this investigation. Very important work. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You're very welcome.
And stay with News 2 and CBS for continuing live coverage of the crash of EgyptAir Flight 990.
It is 5:10 and 56 degrees. Ahead now on News 2 this morning. The jury in the subway push trial spends a long weekend deliberating the fate of Andrew Goldstein.
Plus, Ira's got our weather forecast.
All right, there is some darkness at the end of the light because we're talking about some sunshine today, some clouds tomorrow, and whoa, are we going to be talking about some rain on Wednesday? Your forecast ahead.
At Fortune Off's White Sale, give your home a new look and save. Flannel and jersey cotton knit sheet sets now on sale from $14.99. It's Fortune Off's incredible white sale. Don't miss it.
Mr. Jackson. Your first order of business.
I think I'm going to make a trade.
Bill Jackson arrived in L.A. today and wasted no time getting down to business. You got a wish list? Dream team?
I'm still doing my research.
We're talking basketball because Showtime has returned to Los Angeles in the form
You guys don't know anything about Phil Jackson. Nothing. No, I drive it.
Did you just wake up, pal? We don't know who it's going to be.
I drive Mr. Jackson. Hey, does yours do this?
Who, what, when, where?
Hot pager, hot pager. That's probably him now. Phil. Phil. Hey, yo, Phil. I won't work.
Hi, Mr. Jackson. So I heard about a trade.
How you doing? My name's Pete. Pete, your limo driver. Call me the water bug. I was just wondering if you could throw me a bone and just, you know anything about the trade?
I'm going to make it right now.
Well, sure. I'll give it a smooth ride.
TD Waterhouse, $12 online trades, 160 branches nationwide. Member New York Stock Exchange.
Make the call, Phil. Come on.
At Fortune Off's White Sale, give your home a new look and save. Take 50% off select Crowsill and Burlington sheet and comforter sets. It's Fortune Off's incredible white sale. Don't miss it.
We just expected to pay off some credit cards.
We didn't realize there was so many possibilities.
If you're a homeowner and you call 1-800-CHAMPION for our Pay Down Your Debt program, we're going to show you more.
We call it our possibilities profile.
We lay out a whole bunch of options for saving more money.
Paying off your home sooner, funding retirement, education.
I tell my customers, when you see what our Pay Down Your Debt program can do, you'll be amazed.
We were amazed.
Shouldn't you know all your possibilities? When your bank says no, Champion says yes.
You're looking at a shot of Midtown, 13 after 5. Good Monday morning to you. The jury in the subway push trial will begin day 5 in deliberations this morning. The 4 women and 8 men spent the weekend together without reaching a verdict. They must decide whether Andrew Goldstein is criminally responsible for the death of Kendra Webdale. Goldstein admits he shoved Webdale in front of an oncoming train last January, but has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. The question for the jury is whether the 30-year-old was aware of his actions. Goldstein is schizophrenic and has a long history of violent outbursts. Records show he sought treatment at a hospital shortly before Webdale's death.
All right, it's now 5:13, 56 degrees. Ira.
Cindy, Pablo, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We have a day ahead that's going to be nice and warm, very un-November-like, but there is an end to this warm weather, and we will address that right now. Let's go first, shall we, to our satellite picture. Look at our part of the world there. My goodness, yes, high pressure has carved a hole in the clouds, and for another day, we're going to see some sunshine. Might have some early morning haze and fog around, but nothing particularly formidable. However, this is what's going on. Moisture off to the south. That's a depression that was Tropical Storm Katrina. It's going to climb with its clouds and rain into an approaching cold front that's sitting right here, not really fully formed yet. Anyway, it's going to push into our area. Let's look specifically at our forecast, okay? We're talking a mild day. My goodness, Newburgh, 54 degrees, northern New Jersey, 43. A northwest wind is trying to bring in colder air, but it's not succeeding very well. And here we go. Highs around 70 in the city, upper 60s outside of town, mostly sunny today, increasing clouds tomorrow, and then a chance of showers later on. It'll be windy also. Wednesday, cloudy all day, rainy all day. Rain could be heavy at times. It'll stay windy. Thursday will start with clouds and then clear, and it'll stay windy. And look at those temperatures. My goodness, from 70 today to, well, the upper 40s on Thursday. It's going to cool off and feel an awful lot like November, because it should, because it is.
It's true.
Yep.
And it's going to be November for a while.
Yeah, for about 30 days, you bet.
It is 5:15. Thank you very much, Ira. Time now for our first look at traffic this morning with Clark Logan. Good morning, Clark.
Good morning, Pablo. Good morning, Cindy. And good morning, Ira. I know he's in there somewhere. Good morning, all. Today is Monday. The good news about today is that your street cleaning rules are suspended for today and tomorrow. We'll tell you more about that as the morning goes on. But first, let's check on some live pictures to see what's happening around our area. First off, this is the approach on the BQE from the Gowanus Expressway. The Brooklyn Bridge, obviously, with the normal construction at this point going inbound. The Brooklyn Bridge is closed, road construction there until about 6 a.m. this morning. Don't forget about that Manhattan side that accommodates that extra traffic. As far as the BQE is concerned, traffic not too bad. It's moving right along the speed limit. LaGuardia Airport, a little shaky, but volume relatively light going east and westbound on the Grand Central Parkway. We'll check out the Kew Gardens interchange and just take a quick peek here at the Van Wyck Expressway, the Jackie Robinson Parkway, and also just the more eastern part of the Grand Central Parkway this morning. Not too bad, relatively light. Also, Staten Island, a good trip as well. Heading out to New Jersey. Just to show you just around the Newark Airport section, the turnpike right there in front of you. We do have some construction patterns on the Tappan Zee Bridge. If we can go to the maps, I'll just show you what we were talking about. The volume going southbound, actually some slow-moving traffic on the Tappan Zee Bridge going into Rockland County. Street cleaning rules, again, they are suspended for religious observance, and tomorrow they are also suspended with an election day. So keep that one in mind if you are driving into New York City. A bit of a break to start our week. Back to you both.
All right, Clark, thank you.
You're welcome.
5:16, 56 degrees. Ahead on News 2, things look bad for the Giants early on against the Eagles.
We're going to tell you about their amazing second half in our morning sports report.
There's something comfortable about that old familiar routine or habit. Sometimes it's just plain easier, but not always smarter. You see, just because you've always done something one way doesn't mean there aren't other, better possibilities. In fact, you could be missing out on some real opportunities. Take auto insurance, for example. Every time that bill comes in the mail, you probably just open it up, reach for your checkbook, and pay it without another thought. But you're pretty sure that out there, somewhere, there's a company that could meet your auto insurance needs better, meet them faster, and not least of all, meet them for a lot less of your hard-earned money. No matter how long you've been writing the same big checks, year in and year out, it makes sense to break that bad habit and shop around. You just might like dealing directly with us much more. Why? There are so many reasons. For starters, you might like saving hundreds of dollars on solid, reliable protection with the AIG Auto Insurance Program. It's the reason most of our policyholders switch in the first place. You might even get attached to all the money-saving discounts we offer. Most important, if you ever do have an accident, you're sure to appreciate solid protection from one of the largest and most reliable names in insurance. And dealing direct is easy. Just pick up your phone and call AIG at 1-888-AIG-AUTO. We're always open. That's it. Call 1-888-AIG-AUTO. It's a free call, and we'll be happy to tell you just how low your auto insurance rates can be. So go ahead. Do something a little different today. Call AIG at 1-888-AIG-AUTO now. Get your car insurance a better way and save.
Welcome back. I'm Cindy Hsu. It's now 5:19. There is one winning ticket out there worth $45 million. The winning numbers were drawn on Saturday night, and the New York Lotto ticket was sold right here in Manhattan. If you'd like to check your ticket one more time, the winning numbers are 3, 15, 20, 22, 32, 39. A supplemental number is 46. One more time, 3, 15, 20, 22, 32, 39, and supplemental number is 46.
I always hold my breath there because I think that one day the camera's going to go and somebody in the control room scored, you know. In this morning's Money Watch, investors are hoping for another strong rally this week after stocks soared into record territory on Friday. The Dow opens at 10,729 tomorrow. After gaining, well, today, I guess, after gaining 107 points, the NASDAQ hit a record close, up 91 points at 29.66, and the S&P 500 also rose, up 20.5 points. Checking overseas markets in Tokyo, the Nikkei closed up 55 points. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng closed up 65 points. In London, the price of gold opened unchanged this morning from late Friday.
Well, at the movies, film lovers certainly got into the spirit of the Halloween weekend. House on Haunted Hill was the top-grossing movie, taking in $15.1 million. Last week's favorite flick, The Best Man, came in at number 2, followed by Double Jeopardy, American Beauty, and Music of the Heart rounded out the top 5.
And Haunted Hill cost about $15 million to make, so it's just about, yeah, getting ready to,
How do you know that?
I just saw it.
I was about to say, what? Oh, Mr. Movie Man now.
Actually, I do. I'm a movie freak from the time my folks, you know, my parents got into, like, I know who Zazu Pitts is, you know, people like that, you know, Lex Barker. You know. We used to play this game called Actors and Actresses. I'll tell you about it.
Ira saying, throw to me.
Lex Barker was Tarzan.
Right.
Yep. And Zazu Pitts was with Gail Storm on a TV show.
Oh, yeah. But before that, she was also an actress in the silver screen, you know.
She was the inventor of the Center of the Olive.
Okay, Zazu Pitts. Did everybody get that? Or is it too early in the morning?
Let's talk about our weather here today, shall we? It's going to be mostly sunny. Winds will be calm, and high temperatures will reach nicely into the upper 60s to, well, in the city, 70 degrees. Normal high is right around 60 this time of year. So after spending a considerable amount of time below our normal temperatures, we'll spend, well, a day, maybe part of tomorrow, with temperatures above normal. Here's that 5-day forecast. Increasing clouds tomorrow and windy and chance of showers late. Wednesday, cloudy all day and rainy all day. That rain could be heavy at times in places. And look how cool it gets. Upper 40s come Thursday, and after a cloudy beginning, the day will clear. And on Friday, mostly sunny at 52. Pablo, Cindy, back to you.
Thank you very much. It is 5:22 and 56 degrees. Ahead on News 2, Tiger Woods' banner year continues. Details coming up next in sports.
First, the lottery numbers in New Jersey and Connecticut.
Dad wants to know about that internet stock.
Fat chance, dude.
Susie wonders whether Tommy will ask her to the prom.
By all means.
Mom asks if this is finally the year Dad will remember their anniversary.
Affirmative.
And all Johnny cares about is whether he's getting his own cue ball.
You're stoked.
Introducing Cue Ball, wacky answers to life's most challenging questions.
Yeah, baby.
Over 140 pearls of wisdom from 20 mystic advisors.
When pigs fly.
Only from the Sharper Image.
But of course.
Just shake Cue Ball 3 times and a whoosh of sound and whirling lights lets you know Cue Ball is thinking. Then Cue Ball answers serious, irreverent, or just plain fun.
I'm stuck in this ball. I can't get out.
Cue Ball, only at the Sharper Image. Shop online at sharperimage.com. That's one word, sharperimage.com. Visit one of our Sharper Image stores or call 800-344-4444. That's 800-344-4444.
I'm Neil Padgett with savings on beautiful home aquariums from Tetra.
Welcome to Tetra's Second Nature Wonderful World of Tropical Fish, featuring quality aquarium products like Whisper Power Filters and Tetramin Fish Food, the leading products that you and your fish can trust.
Come to Petland Discounts for Tetra's wonderful world of tropical fish.
We had a lot of credit card bills.
We just weren't sure about the right thing to do.
If you're a homeowner and you call 1-800-CHAMPION for our Pay Down Your Debt program, we have something that will help.
We call it our possibilities profile.
We'll show you options you probably never considered.
Which bills to pay to save the most money?
Paying off your home sooner, funding retirement, education.
I show my customers how Pay Down Your Debt can help them today and 5 years down the road. We were impressed.
Shouldn't you know all your possibilities? When your bank says no, Champion says yes.
524, you're looking at a shot of the Jersey Turnpike. The Meadowlands are there somewhere in the dark. It's 56 degrees and time now for sports.
Absolutely, that's appropriate. We would look toward the Meadowlands, though the game happened in Philadelphia.
Well, the Meadowlands is still, you know, kind of a sports.
Well, of course, it's a sports venue.
Venue, okay.
Certainly, certainly. Anyway, we're roundabout way, kind of like PM Magazine, getting to this fact. The Giants took their act on the road yesterday to Philadelphia. And could they win their third in a row? Well, early on, the Eagles ran all over the Giants. Deuce Staley piled up 83 yards rushing in the first half. Look at him. He's ignoring the efforts of Ryan Phillips and just keeps chugging away. Yeah, nice one. 17-3 Eagles at the break. And then with the Giants trailing 17-10 in the fourth quarter, here's the big play. Christian Peter blocks the Philly field goal attempt. Now, fewer than 3 minutes remaining, the Giants still down by 7, and Staley fumbles, on his own 5-yard line, and the Giants recover. Well, 2 plays later, Kent Graham, who was 26 for 42 and 240 yards, connects with Pete Mitchell. His first TD as a Giant, tied at 17. Then in overtime, Peter with another big play. This deflection picked off by Michael Strahan. Hiram Mosey grumbles 44 yards for the winning score in overtime. How exciting is that? The Giants beat the Eagles 23-17. Big Blue is now 5-3, and make no mistake about it, they were not very good in the first half. Well, the first 3 quarters on either side of the ball. They have a lot of work to do, but they have a win to show for yesterday's effort. Okay, to golf and the Tour Championship. Great weekend for Tiger Woods. Woods won again yesterday. Watch this putt. Shh, quiet. It's in. Okay, now we can talk loudly. He shot a final round 69 and took the match by 4 shots over Davis Love III. It's Tiger's 7th win of the year, the greatest number of victories on the tour in just 1 year since Johnny Miller won 8 back in 1974. And that's your sports report on your Friday morning. Thank you for sharing it with us.
In a way, the Giants were lucky, weren't they?
They were lucky. They really should have lost that game. And Strahan, they're equally, or
did
their
he
best
earn
player.
his paycheck?
Oh, he did
big
indeed.
time, big time. And Christian Peter, I think he was a last-minute substitute.
He was, and he had the blocked field goal. He had the deflection.
Good for him.
Good for him indeed.
Good for him. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ira and Pablo.
I didn't even see the game.
All right, let's get traffic. Here's Clark.
Comments alone. Good morning, everybody. We are going to go outside and just take a couple of quick live pictures around our area and just give you an idea of what we are still working on this morning. The BQE still relatively light going northbound in an eastbound direction, but southbound BQE also looks good. The Brooklyn Bridge was still with some closures going into New York City because of the construction there. Let's just jump quickly towards the New Jersey Turnpike. There it is again. Not too bad of a merge, and also up towards the stadium there. a light ride. Street cleaning rules for New York City, they are suspended. Pablo and Cindy, back to you both.
All right, Clark, thank you.
You're welcome.
527 now, 56 degrees. Straight ahead on News 2, the tragedy of Flight 990. We have live team coverage with the latest on the recovery effort and the painful vigil for family members.
And local mosques are doing what they can to help those families. We will have that story at 5:37.
I like the deal, but is $50 million too much to pay? We've got to make a move if we're going to get this deal done. I got to put you on hold.
The stars say yes, man.
Okay.
You'd be surprised how some executive decisions get made. Introducing Cue Ball, wacky answers to life's most challenging questions.
Yeah, baby.
Over 140 pearls of wisdom from 20 mystic advisors.
When pigs fly.
Only from the Sharper Image.
But of course.
Just shake Cue Ball 3 times and a whoosh of sound and whirling lights lets you know Cue Ball is thinking. Then Cue Ball answers serious, irreverent, or just plain fun.
I'm stuck in this ball. I can't get out.
Cue Ball only at the Sharper Image. Shop online at sharperimage.com. That's one word, sharperimage.com. Visit one of our Sharper Image stores or call 800-344-4444. That's 800-344-4444.
Next, Martin's Short Show, the wickedly funny Conan O'Brien.
Conan hosts his own talk show, and I think it's great that he's finally put his role of Screech on Saved by the Bell behind him.
Profiler's Jamie Luner.
She's a terrific guest if you like hanging around with tall, gorgeous, intelligent redheads who have a killer smile and a great sense of humor.
Then, Emmy from E's Fashion Emergency. Next, Martin's Short Show. This afternoon at 4 on CBS2.
Today on IHOP Revealed, we'll uncover how they really come up with wacky IHOP breakfast names. Behind IHOP scenes, we found this panel of supposed breakfast naming geniuses. But our hidden cameras reveal that these masterminds simply pull names out of a hat. And that's why they're called scrambles. The ranch scramble is stuffed with ham, tomato, and onion, then smothered with cheese and served with hash browns and buttermilk pancakes from just $3.99 weekdays. However, we could not find out how they chose anytime's a good time for IHOP.
Welcome back. 5:30, 56 degrees on this Monday, November 1st. Thanks for joining us on News 2 this morning. I'm Pablo Guzman.
And I'm Cindy Hsu. In the news, the all-night search for survivors from Flight 990 has come up empty, and things are not looking any brighter as we approach sunrise.
That news is especially tough for the families gathered at a hotel at Kennedy Airport. We have live team coverage of this disaster.
And we're going to tell you about the one fortunate man who actually flew on Flight 990 and got off before the crash.
But first, let us get a quick check on our weather with Ira.
All right, Pablo, Cindy, good morning, and a good morning to you. Lots of sunshine today and a high of 70 degrees. Big change in the forecast. We'll tell you about it in moments. Pablo?
Thanks a lot, Ira. Our top story, the crash of Flight 990. Here's the latest. Searchers in boats pulled more debris from the chilly Atlantic overnight, including escape chutes, but no survivors. The air search resumes at dawn, approximately 6:26, and the death toll stands at 271, including at least 3 people from New Jersey. 2 of those people were on their honeymoon. We begin our team coverage with News 2's reporter Michael O'Looney live in Nantucket. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Pablo. We're at the airport here in Nantucket. The air search will get underway at first light. The big news from overnight, the Coast Guard recovered 2 of the plane's emergency chutes, but no reports that they found any survivors or any additional bodies. EgyptAir Flight 990, bound for Cairo, crashed yesterday morning, 52 miles south of Nantucket, about 30 minutes after taking off from JFK. All 217 people on board are feared dead, and the Port Authority's Robert Kelly says this will be a difficult operation.
This is not going to be an easy investigation. This is going to require an awful lot of recovery of debris and materials from the ocean bottom.
This is still officially a search and rescue mission, but the Coast Guard warns it's unlikely that anyone could survive in the 58-degree water for more than 12 hours. It's now been about 27 and a half hours since the crash, so this will likely become a search and recovery mission very soon. Reporting live from Nantucket, Michael O'Looney, News 2.
Michael, thank you very much. And we want to quickly correct something. We had just said the death toll stands at 271. We meant to say 217. For the family members of crash victims, feelings of grief and frustration as they wait for word about their loved ones. News reporter Emily Francis is at the Ramada Inn at the airport with that part of the story. Emily?
Good morning, Cindy. Families have been coming into the Ramada Plaza Hotel all night long, and grief counselors have been on hand to try to comfort them. Meanwhile, this morning, we're learning more about the identities and the lives of some of the people aboard EgyptAir Flight 990. Among them, at least 3 couples from New Jersey, the parents of a Long Island man, and an Egyptian woman flying home to her 3 kids after visiting her husband here in the New York area. We've also learned about a Scotch Plains, New Jersey couple, Willie Jackson and his wife, Mitzi Swank. Now, Jackson was the first black firefighter in Rochester, New Jersey, and they were going on their dream vacation to see the Egyptian pyramids. It's a gut-wrenching scene that seems like a deja vu. Families breaking down in hysterics after hearing that their loved ones were on the ill-fated EgyptAir Flight 990. At the same time, an army of counselors mobilized at the Ramada Inn to handle the 16 grief-stricken families.
There's been a family assistance room set up where Red Cross counselors and where city officials can meet with families one by one to offer our support and to talk with them about what they're experiencing.
We tried to help them identify some of the people. We tried to get information about people that maybe weren't on the airline. Sometimes if the mayor asks, it happens a little faster.
There are now faces to this tragedy. On the left, 28-year-old Frami Makari. He was returning to his homeland after visiting his sister in Queens. We have also learned that the pilot has local roots.
His sister lives here. I saw her inside, and she's in great pains, and we pray for her, his soul, and for her to be patient.
We know that people on the plane came from all over the country and around the world, and also from a variety of religious backgrounds. Leaders of all faiths offered their comfort to survivors.
Most people are very quiet and subdued, and their pain is written on their faces, and they're just waiting. Some of them just seem a little shell-shocked.
The only thing we have is, as a Muslim would say, we are to God, and we are going back to God.
So as of now, there are more than 16 families here at the hotel, and later this morning they are expected to be flown to Providence, Rhode Island, where the search and rescue headquarters is based. Also at 7 o'clock this morning, Mayor Giuliani and other officials are expected to hold a press conference here at the hotel, and of course we will have that information for you later on this morning. Reporting live from the Ramada Plaza Hotel, Emily Francis, News 2.
Emily, thank you. EgyptAir has set up a special telephone number for those who may have had a loved one aboard Flight 990. The EgyptAir passenger assistance hotline is 1-800-243-1094. Now, this number is only for anyone with relatives aboard Flight 990. The number again, 1-800-243-1094.
The heartrending scene at JFK is also unfolding halfway around the world at Cairo International Airport. Family and friends of victims held onto each other, overcome with grief. Cries of the overwhelming loss could be heard inside Terminal 1 when people learned the plane vanished off the coast of Massachusetts. Several people collapsed, others fainted when they were told the news. And while many lined up to see if their loved ones were on the flight's passenger list, others were too terrified to look. They didn't want to know.
With news of the crash coming on a Sunday, members of many houses of worship are offering their prayers and support to the families of the crash victims. That's especially true at local mosques. News 2 reporter Sukanya Krishnan has that part of the story.
The grief was overwhelming outside the Islamic Center on Long Island. There were no words, just pain. Many trying to find comfort in each other's arms. Many coming here to find solace in the Quran and Allah. Dr. Talat Abdul Moneem's parents were on EgyptAir Flight 990. He came to the mosque to pray for his parents. They were both in the United States for 2 months visiting his family. They were heading back to Cairo to help their daughter deliver a baby. Now, the unthinkable.
To go back because my youngest sister is expecting next month, and they wanted to be with her, and we just love them so much. We wish them the paradise, and
the best for the eternity.
The plane crash also affected another family at this mosque, 40-year-old Hisham and Tariq El-Zanati. They lost their parents as well. They were heading back to Cairo after a 3-month visit. Their sister, seen here in the black, was inconsolable, unable to talk. But Hisham spoke about their last moments together as a family.
They were with us last night. We spent all night together till 1 o'clock in the morning before they left to the aircraft. They wished us and they prayed with us. They prayed for us. And we wished them a happy flight, safe flight, but God's will is before and over anything that we may wish. We could not believe that that can happen to us.
Inside the mosque, a special service was held in memory of those who lost their lives. They recited the Quran and prayed, many trying to accept God's will.
Muslim, we basically believe that your time here is predetermined. Everybody has to die.
The Muslim community throughout the city has been devastated by the plane crash. In Bay Ridge, dozens of Muslims gathered inside this mosque, many calling out to their Muslim brothers and sisters for support.
I feel so sad, about the people that was flying, because I don't know what happened to them until this point.
Many Muslims believe that their destiny is predetermined and whatever happened to Flight 990 is Allah's will. They say that this is what is helping them get through this tough time. Memorial services are expected to be held throughout the week. In Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, I'm Sukanya Krishnan for News 2.
Joining us now live on the phone is the Director of Communications for the Islamic Center of Long Island. Ghazi Khan is with us. Good morning, Mr. Khan.
Good morning.
Could you please just tell us, it must be a lot of people came to the Islamic Center. We saw one of our reporters there. Just for people just getting information and finding support there.
Yes, of course, but there will be more coming this week, and especially on Friday. All mosques will be holding special prayers for al-ghaib, that is those who are absent, who are those who have departed. And as you've heard, even the children of the families who have departed keep saying that to God we belong and to God is our return, because this comes from a Quranic statement, and Muslims believe the Quran is the word of God Almighty, in which we are told, and God says, and surely we shall try you with something of fear and hunger and loss of wealth and lives and crops, but give glad tidings to the patients, that is the steadfast, who say when a misfortune strikes them, they say, lo, we belong to Allah, and to Allah is our return. And these are those who God's blessings and mercy will fall upon them, and they are the right guarded. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told us that Almighty God says that my believing creation will be in paradise when I take a loving member of their family and they still continue to be patient.
Sir, this is Pablo Guzman. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, have you or any of the people working with you been able to talk directly yet with any of the either family members or those close to people who were on that flight?
Oh yes, we have in our center, at the Islamic Center of Long Island, members of three families.
Mm-hmm.
They have lost their loved ones.
I'm very sorry. And were they on business, or were they making this trip to see family back home? What, do you know yet? Have you been told yet what the purpose of the flight was?
Well, the grandparents were here to see their grandchildren and be with their children,
mm-hmm.
and they spent 3 months. And then they were bid farewell, and they were gone. Another member of the Islamic Center also had both parents here visiting him, and both again were gone.
I'm sorry.
We are very, very sad when we mourn. It is a time of grief, but we have to keep reminding them that the will of God we cannot change.
All right,
Therefore, we have to be patient, because God loves those who are patient when they are under passing through calamity.
Mr. Ghazi Khan from the Islamic Center of Long Island, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
It is 5:42, 56 degrees. Still ahead on News 2, we'll have more coverage of the crash of Flight 990.
We will also check traffic, and Ira has your forecast. Ira?
Plenty of sunshine again today, and temperatures will be mild, climbing up to around 70, but there's a big change. Stay tuned.
Thinking about painting your car? Stop thinking, do it. Maaco's still offering the Ambassador Paint Service for only $189, the best economy paint service in America. For a great finish and a beautiful deal, call 1-888-MAACO-USA.
If foods like onions and peppers give you gas, then do what I do. Take Beano before eating. It has a natural food enzyme that helps prevent gas caused by many vegetables, including beans. And for me, that's great news. Prevent gas with Beano.
If you're one of the 36 million people who wear dentures, this is big. New 5-Minute Polydent cleans stains, then forms an invisible PolyShield barrier so you feel fresh all day. 5-Minute Polydent with PolyShield.
A lot of people have allergies. I have multi-symptom nasal allergies. It's the sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. It's all of it. I told my doctor, I've had it. I want an allergy medicine made for my kind of allergies. He prescribed multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
News 2, sponsored by Simon. Simply the best shopping there is.
To make shopping less scattered, Simon simply puts it all together. To make shopping more sensible, Simon simply gives you better choices. To make shopping a bigger bargain, Simon simply adds extra value. And to make shopping feel good, Simon simply makes it fun. Simply Simon. Simply the best shopping there is.
16 minutes before 6 a.m., you're looking at the Turnpike by the airport, New Jersey Turnpike. Time to check weather and traffic. Let us start with Ira.
All right, Pablo, good morning to you. Good morning, Cindy, and a good morning to you as well. Let's look outside our television window also at the Lower East River, shall we? It is starting to get daylight out there. That's right. Hope you remember to set your clock back an hour. Saturday night, our sun rises this morning at 6:26, so we're relatively close to that event happening. And doesn't it look lovely out there? Here's our satellite picture. No clouds over our area right now, or none of any formidable nature. There is off to the south, and you see it very nicely. There's some moisture. It's going to climb up from the south, joining forces with a cold front that is approaching. And by tomorrow evening, we'll see the clouds increase, and there will be a chance also for some showers then. Look how mild it is right now. Even with a northwest wind, it's very, very mild outside. And today we'll see abundant sunshine, a few high, thin clouds, and temperatures will reach well up into the upper 60s too in the city, right around 70 degrees. And here's our 5-day forecast. Sunny today, and tomorrow starts quite clear, and then the clouds will increase so that later in the day there's a chance of showers and it starts to get windy. Wednesday, cloudy all day and rainy, heavy at times. And then Thursday starts with clouds and then clears. Look how cool. And it stays windy, by the way, on Thursday, upper 40s, and on Friday, mostly sunny, but only 52 degrees. That's your weather and mine. Here's your traffic and mine from Clark Logan.
Thanks so much, Mr. Ira Joe Fisher. What we are going to talk about are some other just slight problems in our area. First off, we are going outside to check on our first live shot of the morning, and it's going to be just around the BQE. We have the on top of the Empire State Building here. Now, this traffic is coming towards us on the BQE. It comes up towards the Brooklyn Bridge and, of course, the Manhattan Bridge, then followed by the Williamsburg Bridge. The Manhattan Bridge is taking a lot of extra traffic because of the Brooklyn Bridge and its closures with some overnight construction. Going to LaGuardia Airport next, just going to show you how light the traffic is here, which is some good news. The Kew Gardens interchange also not too bad of a trip, but we're going to go to the maps if we can. Now, we do have an accident working this morning. It's going to tie us up through Queens, and it's going to be on the Grand Central Parkway in a westbound direction. It sits at 168th Street, so coming out of Nassau County, if you are on the Northern State Parkway, you might start hitting some traffic. There's a gas station about 188th Street in the center median of the Grand Central Parkway, and next will be some heavier traffic there. Also, if we are taking the Tappan Zee Bridge, you want to give yourself a little bit of extra time. Some overnight construction is what's going to cause a bit of a delay going from Rockland County into Westchester County. About 2 lanes are closed up going into the toll plaza, but that should be opened up at about 6 o'clock this morning. Street cleaning rules, they are suspended for today and for tomorrow as well. Pablo, Cindy, back to you both.
Thank you very much, Clark. 13 minutes before 6, 56 degrees. Up next on News 2, we will update this morning's top story, the crash of Flight 990.
We'll also update you on the other top stories of the day, including the wait for a verdict in the trial of a man who pushed a woman to her death in front of a subway. Stay with News 2.
What if you could treat wrinkles like an expert would? With Rock, the #1 anti-wrinkle cream in France, you can. Developed with dermatologists, Rock's pure and active form of vitamin A works deeper, inside skin surface. In a 12-week study, the appearance of fine lines was reduced by 86%, wrinkles by 42%. Something more superficial beauty treatments could never promise. Rock, we keep our promises.
If you're one of the good people who have donated blood before, we salute you. The New York Blood Center is working hard to convince those who never have had that wonderful experience to give blood and save a neighbor. One small pint can do that. Now, if everyone who has given blood before can do it again, our cup runneth over.
Call the New York Blood Center, 1-800-933-BLOOD, serving New York, New Jersey, Long Island, and the Hudson Valley.
Attention must be paid.
If you know Wall Street, Donaldson, Lufkin, and Jenrette needs no introduction. For 40 years, we've helped investors make wise decisions. So how do you gain access?
You log on to DLJ Direct, the serious online brokerage designed for people who take their money seriously. DLJ Direct will change your expectations of online brokers. We're staking our reputation on it.
10 minutes before 6 a.m., you are looking at a shot of the Statue of Liberty. Good morning. Time now to recap our top story this morning.
Search crews continue to scour the Atlantic off Nantucket, where EgyptAir Flight 990 crashed early Sunday morning. More than 200 passengers are feared dead. So far, very little debris has been found, and only one body has been recovered. 2 of the plane's evacuation slides and life rafts have also been found.
Family members who had relatives on Flight 990 are gathering at Kennedy Airport waiting for word about their loved ones. Families started breaking down in hysterics, understandably, after hearing that their loved ones were on that ill-fated jet. Counselors from the Red Cross are on hand to help the 16 grief-stricken families.
EgyptAir has set up a special telephone number for people who may have had a loved one aboard Flight 990. The EgyptAir Passenger Assistance Hotline is 1-800-243-1094. We have to stress this number is only for those with relatives aboard Flight 990. That number again, 1-800-243-1094.
In other news this morning, the jury in the subway push trial is back for a 5th day of deliberations. They must decide whether Andrew Goldstein is criminally responsible for the death of Kendra Webdale. Goldstein admits he shoved Webdale in front of an oncoming train last January, but has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. The question for the jury is whether the 30-year-old can be held responsible for his actions. Goldstein is schizophrenic and has a long history of violent outbursts.
High schoolers in Cleveland are set to go back to school this morning after learning 4 of their classmates are being held for plotting a massacre at their high school. Yesterday, the boys and their parents were in court for an arraignment. It was a closed hearing, and after entering a plea of not guilty, the boys were immediately sent back to juvenile detention. Police say the 4 students plan to set off bombs and open fire on classmates at their predominantly black school. The school was closed on Friday because of the threat, but will reopen today under tightened security.
8 minutes before 6, 56 degrees. Up next, the news you really want to know. Did anybody win the big lotto jackpot over the weekend?
Stay with us for the winning numbers and a check of weather and traffic together.
Yeah, it's gonna be a special night. Finally, some time alone. Mom's got the kids.
Introducing Campbell's Select, a line of sophisticated soups like chicken and pasta with roasted garlic or tomato garden. For those special evenings when it's just the 2 of you.
Have a good trip.
You and a bowl of Campbell's Select.
We have to do this more often.
Want something special made just for you? We have a soup for that. Introducing Campbell's Select.
Buy Factory Direct. The jewelry source in Fort Lee has a complete factory in full view and guarantees their jewelry to be the lowest price. Compare Tiffany's 1-carat invisible bands for over $5,000 with the jewelry source's GVS quality for $1,600. 1-carat pendants are $249. 2-carat tennis bracelets $349, and 1-carat studs $399. We carry hundreds of rings, bracelets, earrings, and pendants. Our prices are so low that we guarantee all our jewelry to appraise for at least double. The Jewelry Source in Fort Lee.
It's the controversial kiss we've all been waiting for. Ally McBeal locking lips with her female co-star.
The idea of kissing Ling doesn't gross me out.
Then the high-priced settlements of Hollywood's ex-wives club. Spielberg paid Amy Irving $100 million. Costner paid $80 million. What A-list husbands pay their exes. And look outrageous, the new show Greed doubles the money as you can win $2 million on E.T.
Tonight at 7 on CBS-2.
Campbell's must have been thinking of my 3 guys when they came up with a whole new way to have soup.
Introducing Campbell's new ready-to-serve tomato soup.
It's the same great Campbell's they've always loved, but simple and easy to make. Just pour, heat, and enjoy. So now when they want a snack, they can make it themselves. Anytime. So maybe Campbell's wasn't thinking of my guys.
Here, Mom.
Maybe they were thinking of me.
Thank you.
New ready-to-serve classic and creamy tomato soup from Campbell's. Good for the body, good for the soul. Or try new roasted garlic and herbs.
Good morning. A live picture of the Holland Tunnel on the Jersey side. Traffic is moving along nicely. Welcome back. 5:54, 56 degrees. I'm Cindy Hsu. Well, someone in Manhattan may be $45 million richer this morning. Only 1 ticket matched the winning numbers in Saturday night's New York State Lotto drawing, and it was sold right here in the city. Now, if you'd like to check your ticket, the winning numbers are 3, 15, 20, 22, 32, 39. Supplemental number is 46. Again, 3, 15, 20, 22, 32, 39, supplemental number 46.
Somebody is so lucky right now. Time now to take a quick look at sports this morning. The Giants soared over the Philadelphia Eagles, capturing their 3rd win in a row. New York had been trailing in the 4th quarter, but they managed to tie things up and win in overtime thanks to Michael Strahan, who went 44 yards for the winning goal. And in golf, Tiger Woods closed the PGA season by winning his 7th title of the year. He finished 4 shots ahead of Davis Love III to win the Tour Championship.
All right, now it's time to check traffic and weather, starting with Ira.
Okay, our sky today will be filled with sunshine, a few high, thin clouds, and we will see the area filled with warmth as well. My goodness, it's going to feel like September or October. Anyway, it's actually November, and highs will hit the 70-degree mark in the city and farther inland as well, and we'll see some places climbing only into the upper 60s. Winds are calm, but this high pressure and all of the sunshine dominating our weather today are going to help push those temperatures up. Now, here's our 5-day forecast. It looks like this. We're talking about clouds gathering tomorrow and a chance of showers late in the day, and it'll be windy but still warm, upper 60s, and then it cools off for the rest of the week. Cloudy, rainy, heavy at times. On Wednesday, a high of only 50. Thursday starts with clouds and then slowly clears and stays windy. Look at that high, 49. And on Friday, a high of 52 even with all of the sunshine, and there will be a lot of sunshine, and it is hoped come Friday the winds will calm down just a bit. Let's find out what's happening in traffic once again. Here's Clark Logan.
Okay, Ira, unfortunately traffic not calming down too much this morning. That BQE we've been showing you throughout the hour, we're going to take another live picture of it just to see how much that traffic has increased over the last 10 to 15 minutes. Now all the volume coming towards us is in a northbound direction coming off the leg of the Gowanus right around that corner there. But again, lots of slow-moving traffic right up through the lower East River crossings. Off to Queens we go to show you what the Grand Central Parkway and the Van Wyck Expressway look like. Now, just to the east of this live picture, we do have an accident. It is on the westbound side of the Grand Central Parkway, and it sits at 168th Street. And quickly to Staten Island, there is some building volume, but not too bad yet going into the toll plaza. Strict cleaning rules for New York City, they are suspended for today and again tomorrow. Pablo, Cindy, back to you both.
Thanks a lot, Clark. It is 3 minutes before 6 o'clock, 54 degrees. Watch your time at home. Straight ahead on News 2, our top story. Planes will take to the skies in the next 30 minutes to resume the search for possible survivors from Flight 990.
Then chronic fatigue. Dr. Peter Salgo joins us live to tell us what you need to know about it.
But if you're headed out the door right now for the latest news, traffic, and weather, tune your radio to 1010 Wins. All news, all the time.
You're watching News 2 this morning.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Toyota. Real values every day at your Toyota dealer. Visit us online at driveatoyota.com.
Why is interest in the Yellow Pages falling? Now there's something better. Switchboard.com, a free directory powered by the internet. It's business listings, it's people search, it's maps and directions, locally and nationally. So before you pick up a Yellow Pages, drop in on us instead. Switchboard.com. Think outside the book.
Hello? Yeah, where are you? No. Excuse me, I'm working. It's the opera and I'm gonna catch a red eye tonight, yeah. That's right. What? Ah!
Stay in touch without disturbing anyone with two-way paging and email from SkyTel for first name and advanced messaging.
Tonight on the Comedy Broadcasting System, will a romantic weekend getaway bring out the animal in The King of Queens? Then, after 10 years of marriage, Jimmy's out to prove he's still got it.
Can I help you find a pair of Dockers in a Husky?
An all-new ladies' man, followed by a revealing Raymond. Then, one of these people has a shocking secret.
You know?
You know?
Does everybody know?
Find out who.
They do now.
On an all-new Becker. It all happens CBS tonight. Whoops. Not again. Whoopsie-daisy. Whoopsie-daisy. Oh, no. Whoopsie-daisy, whoopsie-daisy. Don't scratch on my side. Whoopsie-daisy,
Sometimes the greatest challenge for an SUV isn't going off-road, but staying on. The M-Class, the only SUV that drives like a Mercedes.
It's time for News 2 this morning.
The Coast Guard searched throughout the night for evidence of the crash of EgyptAir Flight 990. Good morning. It is 6 o'clock, 54 degrees on this Monday, November 1st. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Cindy Hsu.
And I'm Pablo Guzman. We have live team coverage of the air tragedy. First, a quick check of the weather forecast. Here's Ira.
Different day, different month, and yes, indeed, we have some different weather. We're talking about our day today turning sunny and mild, but there is a change ahead. We'll talk about it. Cindy.
Ira, thank you. Our top story, the tragic crash of EgyptAir Flight 990. Now here's the very latest. Searchers found more debris overnight, including 2 of the plane's evacuation slides. The air search resumes at this hour as the sun rises over the debris field in the Atlantic. And the death toll stands at 217, including at least 3 people from New Jersey. We begin our team coverage with News 2 reporter Michael Aluni live in Nantucket. Michael?
Good morning, Cindy. Dawn has broken here on Nantucket. That air search will resume in about a half an hour. Coast Guard ships were out over that debris field all night, and they found, as you said, 2 of the plane's emergency chutes. There are no reports that they found any survivors or any additional bodies. Federal authorities are now trying to determine if the crash of EgyptAir Flight 990 was the result of mechanical failure or terrorism.
We know there has been a loss of life. The Coast Guard, supported by the Navy, is conducting extensive search and rescue operations in the area. The effort will continue for as long as necessary.
Cairo-bound Flight 990 with 199 passengers and a crew of 18 took off from JFK at 1:19 a.m. The Boeing 767 was flying at 33,000 feet at 1:47 a.m. when the control tower lost radio contact. The plane then began a terrifying nosedive, falling to 19,100 feet in just 24 seconds. 2 minutes later, Flight 990 dropped off the radar screen and seconds later slammed into the ocean about 52 miles south of Nantucket.
Modus operandi is to continue in the search and rescue phase until we're convinced that there is no chance to find survivors, and right now we're still in that search and rescue phase.
Rescue crews have recovered at least one body, and authorities are now working a debris field spread out over 49 square miles.
We have located debris in the form of seats, parts of seats, life jackets, 2 partially inflated life rafts which show no sign of burn marks or any other damage, but were not completely inflated.
The Port Authority's Robert Kelly warns this will be a difficult operation.
This is not going to be an easy investigation. This is going to require an awful lot of recovery of debris and materials from the ocean bottom.
Flight 990 was carrying passengers from 5 countries, including 131 Americans. The missing include 2 infants and 54 people from a Boston-based tour group. The crash comes on the heels of a September 24th threat against EgyptAir, warning that someone was going to place a bomb on one of their planes flying out of Los Angeles or New York. At this point, there is no indication that this disaster is related to that threat.
Although there is no indication of any criminal activity at this particular point in time, our protocol is with the Coast Guard and NTSB.
We want to stress that officially this is still a search and rescue mission, but that will likely change to a search and recovery mission very soon, and here's why. They say, authorities here say it is very unlikely that anyone could survive in the 58-degree water for more than 12 hours. It's now been about 28 hours since the plane went down. Reporting live from Nantucket, Michael O'Looney, News 2.
Thank you very much, Michael. Several relatives of the passengers aboard Flight 990 spent a terrible night waiting for word at a hotel at Kennedy Airport. News 2 reporter Emily Francis is live now at the Ramada Inn at the airport with that part of the story. Emily.
Good morning, Pablo. This morning we are learning about the identities and the lives of some of the people on EgyptAir Flight 990. Among them, at least 3 couples from New Jersey, the parents of a Long Island man, and an Egyptian woman going home to her 3 children after visiting her husband here. 76-year-old New Jersey native Richard Brokaw and his 72-year-old wife, Virginia Chaplin, recently got married after losing both of their spouses, and they were planning to go to Egypt for a cruise down the Nile for their first anniversary. It's a gut-wrenching scene that seems like a deja vu. Families breaking down in hysterics after hearing that their loved ones were on the ill-fated EgyptAir Flight 990. At the same time, an army of counselors mobilized at the Ramada Inn to handle the 16 grief-stricken families.
There's been a family assistance room set up where Red Cross counselors and where city officials can meet with families one by one to offer our support and to talk with them about what they're experiencing.
We tried to help them identify some of the people. We tried to get information about people that maybe weren't on the airline. Sometimes if the mayor asks, it happens a little faster.
There are now faces to this tragedy. On the left, 28-year-old Frami Makari. He was returning to his homeland after visiting his sister in Queens. We have also learned that the pilot has local roots.
His sister lives here. I saw her inside, and she's in great pains, and we pray for her, his soul, and for her to be patient.
We know that people on the plane came from all over the country and around the world, and also from a variety of religious backgrounds. Leaders of all faiths offered their comfort to survivors.
Most people are very quiet and subdued, and their pain is written on their faces, and they're just waiting. Some of them just seem a little shell-shocked.
The only thing we have is, as a Muslim would say, we are to God, and we are going back to God.
Now, grief counselors have been here throughout the night to try to comfort the families. Now it has grown to more than 16 because families have come here overnight. Later this morning, they will be flown to Providence, Rhode Island, where the headquarters is based. Also, within the hour, Mayor Giuliani is expected to hold a news conference, and of course, we will provide that information later on. Reporting live from the Ramada Plaza Hotel at John F. Kennedy International Airport, Emily Francis, News 2.
Thank you very much, Emily. EgyptAir has set up a special telephone number for those who may have had a loved one aboard Flight 990. The EgyptAir Passenger Assistance Hotline is 1-800-243-1094. This number is only for anyone with relatives aboard Flight 990. That number again, 1-800-243-1094.
Whenever a tragedy like this occurs, there always seems to be at least one person who missed the flight. News 2 reporter Craig Devereaux is live at Kennedy Airport with one such story. Good morning, Craig.
Good morning, Cindy. We're in sort of the situation room, if you will, at JFK, which is run by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. This is where a lot of the information about Flight 990 was coming from yesterday and on into Sunday evening. We're learning more about a man who bought a ticket for this flight but didn't get on it, and today he's counting his blessings. Abdid Sigad has been visiting his family in Brooklyn, was supposed to fly home 2 nights ago to Egypt, but his daughter canceled the flight so he could stay with her for another week. She didn't want to appear on camera, but told News 2 reporter Sukanya Krishnan she feels very fortunate.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God. That's what he said. Because, you know, I can't imagine if he was there. I can't imagine. He came here to visit, you know, not to die.
Abaza didn't even know his daughter had canceled his flight until the very last minute. Now let's tell you a little bit more about the plane itself. This particular Boeing 767 Flight 990 was delivered to EgyptAir 10 years ago. It logged more than 33,000 flight hours and was listed in good condition. Now to the history of the Boeing 767. The first model came out in 1982. It's one of Boeing's longest range aircrafts, and the company says it's the most commonly used plane for transatlantic flights. The 767 has an excellent track record for safety, but there have been 2 fatal crashes. In 1991, 223 people were killed when a Boeing 767 crashed in Thailand after the engine's reverse thrusters suddenly kicked in. And 3 years ago, an Ethiopian airliner crashed off the coast of the Comoros Islands after being hijacked. 127 people were killed there. Now, a little later on this morning, Mayor Giuliani is set to give a press conference sometime around 7 o'clock, and then later in the morning, perhaps around 10 o'clock, we're told, a joint press conference involving the NTSB, the city, and officials from the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Live at JFK, Craig Devereaux, News 2.
Thank you very much, Craig. Joining us now by telephone is aviation expert Richard Kaplan. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Good morning.
Thank you.
Mr. Kaplan, first, your particular area of expertise in the field of aviation?
My expertise lies in commercial aircraft. I've been involved in research on Boeing types as well as Airbus for the last 8 to 10 years. The 767 is, as Devereaux had mentioned, one of the most popular transatlantic airplanes in the world. A lot of your transatlantic carriers like American and United use them.
A question that the average person is stopping other people about in the street happened to me over the weekend. When you hear about that rapid rate of descent, should anything be read into that at all? Or, for instance, can that happen because of a catastrophic mechanical or electrical failure of some kind?
Absolutely. One of the first things that hit me when I had heard about the descent was, could there have been an engine problem? It is a twin-engined aircraft, and if air in any sense is disrupted into the intakes of the engine, the pilot would have to transfer all the power into the other engine, and then he'd have to hightail it for an emergency landing. Now, the time span for that is very quick, and considering that you're at a cruise altitude of 33,000 feet, to rapidly plunge to an altitude of 13,000 feet in less than 24 seconds tells me that there was something wrong either with the engines or possibly with the flaps.
Okay, Mr. Kaplan, you know, we've heard a lot of the investigators say no burn marks have been found in the little debris that they have recovered, and what does that tell you?
Well, it tells me that there wasn't any explosion or anything of that nature like you had with Flight 800. With Flight 800, you had a clear indication that there was a fuel, that this was fuel, because the Jet A fuel burns at a very high rate, and it would have told, and you would have certainly have had indications that there was an explosion there. Whereas with here, what you have is an aircraft that apparently lost control. Why it lost control is going to be up to the NTSB and the FAA to determine, but theoretically, it could be flaps, it could be turbulence. There's a lot of things here that we don't know about. I mean, there was severe fog, but at 33,000 feet, that wouldn't be a factor.
All right, Mr. Richard Kaplan, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Anytime.
Stay with us for continuing live coverage of the crash of EgyptAir Flight 990.
It is 12 after 6 and 54 degrees. Ahead on News 2 this morning, business news live from Bloomberg.
And if you find yourself tired all the time, the problem may be more than lack of sleep. We're going to find out more about chronic fatigue in our Health Watch. That's at 6:25.
And the early show makes its debut in, watch your time here, less than an hour. You're looking at a live picture outside the studio. We are going to be talking with host Brian Gumbel a little later this morning.
Plus, Ira's got the weather forecast.
Our weather for the week is going to go from warm to wet to stay tuned. Wait till you hear the forecast.
It's happening again.
Where's it centered?
I got it. It's centered on Elwood Drive.
Go, go, go! Back, all civilians back.
2.7.
Yeah.
2.9.
Oh, I'm feeling it. Go, move in. Go, go, go!
Yes! Oh! I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. Yeah!
Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Sofas and Tables by Living.com. Room designed online by Sam and Emma's parents. Introducing Living.com. Home furnishings and design ideas to express your personal vision for the home. Living.com. Your home, your design.
Now, a lot of you have seen me before, and you've heard the compelling reasons why you should see a dentist, but you haven't called. Is it because you're so busy you don't have 60 seconds to pick up the phone? Or maybe you think that dentures will be less expensive than a routine checkup. Or although you know we have dentists who specialize in fearful patients, you're afraid they're not in your area. Oh, I know, you can't remember the phone number. No more excuses. Call us today.
While Lexus tests to the highest standards of safety, we also test for the intangibles. Luxury. Comfort. Ergonomics. Even beauty. The LS400, the true test of luxury.
Your diodes look stunning this evening.
See your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer.
The Bloomberg Business Report, sponsored by your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealer.
It's 6:15, and that is a nice, kind of hazy picture of the Lower East River crossings, the bridges over there. And I believe a friend of mine is standing by, Ira Joe.
Yes, I am. A friend of yours and standing by, Pablo. High pressure is in charge of our weather. We do see some of the clouds of the weekend that have moved on out. We're anticipating more clouds to work up from the south. They're going to join forces with a forming cold front that will push clouds into our Tuesday, tomorrow, and some rain later tomorrow, and then perhaps heavy rain when Wednesday rolls around. Let's look closer at our forecast, shall we? Right now, we'll check outside our window, and it's 54 in the city, 40s and 50s outside of town. Just a few days ago, we were seeing temperatures below freezing. They'll be back, but for now, it's nice and mild. Winds are calm, and we're talking about lots of sunshine today And winds will be, well, out of the west, northwest. High temperatures climbing into the upper 60s to the lower 70s. A little bit later, we'll look at the 5-day forecast, and temperatures really will cool down considerably. Upper 40s to around 50 toward the end of the week. Right now, though, it's time to check traffic. And once again, here's Clark Logan. Hey, Clark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ira Joe Fisher. We are going to show our friends out there what's happening with the Lincoln Tunnel, just to give you an idea of the inbound delay at this point. Now, on Friday, it was much worse because they were bringing in all the floats for the parade on Friday. But today, not too bad. At 6:16 in the morning, we're looking at about a 15-minute delay at the Lincoln Tunnel, about 10 minutes at the Holland Tunnel. The George Washington Bridge looks good so far. To LaGuardia Airport we go to give you just an idea of the light traffic in both the east and the westbound direction. The problem with the Grand Central Parkway is going to be just before the Kew Gardens interchange, which is this live picture. We have an accident on the westbound side of the Grand Central sitting at 168th Street. Off to New Jersey we go. Just want to point out the New Jersey Turnpike. Moderate traffic here takes us up through interchange 14. Street cleaning rules for today and tomorrow, both suspended. So that's some good news if you do have to drive in. But meter parking is still in effect. Pablo, Cindy?
Thanks much, Clark. It is 17 after 6.
Let's check up Joe Bierman and the chopper.
Good morning, guys. We've just taken a look at the commute in from Brooklyn. Right in front of us here is the Williamsburg Bridge. You can see good drive conditions coming across the Williamsburg Bridge, also the Brooklyn Bridge and Manhattan Bridge. We're just hearing word of an accident on the FDR Drive northbound at about 116th Street. That's going to be our next stop. If it's anything major, we'll give you a holler. Also, a little bit of radar trouble up at LaGuardia Airport, so if you have a flight this morning, you want to call ahead and double-check to see if there's any cancellations or delays at this point at LaGuardia. We'll keep you on top of all the breaking news. Now back to Cindy and Pablo.
Thank you, Joe. 18 after 6, 54 degrees, still to come on News 2. Are you feeling a bit fatigued? That could be a sign of major medical problems.
Find out more in our Health Watch. That's at 6:25.
Breathe in and release. Now, why don't you all assume the jasmine blossom position, and I will print out today's moon sign charts. Control, steady, breathe. Come on, you stupid! And release.
There's only one thing scarier to Japan than this guy. And that's a terrific deal on a brand new Kia Sophia with more standard features than any compact car under 10 grand, including power steering, an AM/FM stereo, and a full cloth interior, all starting at just $94.95 after $500 cash back during Kia's monster year-end sales event going on now. Feel your pain. What a whiner.
Jack is a crier. He just doesn't travel real well. He gets a little cranky and restless. But then he gets on the train.
Time travels differently on the train. So will you. Long-distance Amtrak Explore America fares start at $179 round trip in any one region. Arrive in a different state.
I slave for you. I get hit over 100,000 times a day. But do you even care? You will when I go 404 and start turning clients away. They say I'm your server, but perhaps it should be the other way around.
Do you really have time for this? We do. Introducing subscription computing from MicronPC.com. We'll expand your web capacity so you can expand your business.
It's 20 after 6. Time to check now on business news this Monday morning. Let us go live to Vince Lipari at Bloomberg. Hi, Vince.
Good morning, Pablo. Well, we'll see if the positive market continues today. The Dow gained 107 points on Friday, and the Nasdaq soared 91 points, closing at a record high of 2966. Now, today we get the National Association of Purchasing Managers Manufacturing Index. That's an indicator of economic growth. And it's a pretty historic day in the financial world. For the first time ever, two companies that are traded on the Nasdaq are being added to the prestigious Dow Jones Industrial Average. Microsoft and Intel will be joined by Home Depot and SBC Communications as the latest members of the Dow. Saying goodbye are Chevron, Goodyear, Sears, and Union Carbide. The Federal Communications Commission is putting a hold on the latest rate move by AT&T. The #1 U.S. long-distance provider wants to increase the universal service fee that it charges consumers. Under AT&T's plan, consumer costs would increase from 99 cents to $1.50 per month. The FCC is suspending to increase pending an investigation on the reasonableness of the charge. At the box office over the weekend, Time Warner's House on Haunted Hill debuted as #1 as it drew in the Halloween weekend crowds. Seagram's The Best Man was #2, while Viacom's Double Jeopardy fell to 3rd spot. American Beauty was 4th, and Music of the Heart debuted in 5th place. Some modest gains in the Pac Rim overnight. The Nikkei rose 54 points, while the Hang Seng edged up 65 points. Spot gold is still slip-sliding away, down $4.70 at 294.50. It looks like an up market on Wall Street later this morning. From Bloomberg headquarters in Midtown, I'm Ms. Lipari for News 2. Back to you, Cindy and Pablo.
All right, Vince, thank you. 622, 54 degrees. Ahead on News 2 this morning, you're feeling tired all the time. It could be a sign of serious illness. Up next, Dr. Peter Salgo has some important information you should know.
First, a check of the lottery numbers for New Jersey and Connecticut.
News 2 Traffic and Weather, sponsored by Cadillac.
In my Escalade, I have the power to find the quickest route across town, to get tickets to the hottest shows. And now you have the power to lease a new 2000 Escalade for about $549 a month. Call for complete lease details. Escalade with OnStar.
OnStar?
The power to make obstacles obsolete. Escalade. See your Cadillac dealer today.
They are mothers, fathers, daughters, and sons. Everyday heroes who are living symbols of one inspiring and powerful idea, the American dream. Meet them every Wednesday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. Brought to you by Fidelity Investments.
I hate grapes. Green and purple and seedless. Sure, they taste great, but on a supermarket floor, they can make for nasty slips and falls. Hi, I'm Al Mangoni, a safety specialist with Liberty Mutual Insurance. There's no reason the supermarket floor should ever be a dangerous place. So we're working on non-slip flooring and other materials to keep you safe.
At Liberty Mutual, we have hundreds of experts helping you live a safer, more secure life. It's insurance in action.
I also hate bananas.
There are over 800,000 job openings
for internet specialists right now.
3 million more in the next 5 years. By the time I'm 18, over 1 billion jobs will require internet skills.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Virtually all internet traffic travels across the systems of one company, the same one sponsoring thousands of networking academies. Cisco Systems, empowering the internet generation.
We ready? Are you?
I didn't know I could pick my own natural gas supplier.
You mean I don't have to buy my gas from the local utility if I don't want to?
That's right. Today, New York has energy competition, so different suppliers can compete for your natural gas dollar. And your local utility will still deliver the gas and ensure safety and reliability. Gas competition, it's heating up.
News 2 at 11, with expanded coverage of live breaking news, more investigations from the best reporters in town, and new ways to make your money work for you. See why more people are making the switch to News 2 at 11 tonight.
Good morning. That's the sunrise from Chopper 2, 25 after 6, 54 degrees. In this morning's Health Watch, doctors are getting the word out about chronic fatigue. It could be a sign of a serious health problem. Dr. Peter Salgo has the story.
It seemed like I always needed an afternoon nap.
Arlene McCardle suffered with fatigue for over a decade.
Since I had young children, I blamed it on that.
Dr. Sandra Freihofer says that's a typical response. She says many of her patients, especially baby boomers, make excuses for being chronically tired.
Well, it's easy to say that this fatigue could be due to job stress and aging parents and Y2K, but in fact, this fatigue could be the only symptom of a medical condition we can treat, like thyroid disease, sleep apnea, or even mild depression.
Each of those conditions can be dangerous. In Arlene's case, the problem was an underactive thyroid, a common disorder in women over 50.
The thyroid gland is located in the base of your neck, and it actually controls your energy and metabolism.
A little pill now keeps Arlene's thyroid in check.
I felt great. I felt healthy again.
While occasional fatigue is perfectly normal, if you're tired all the time, check with your doctor.
Okay, the bottom line, if you're getting enough sleep at night and you still feel tired, it's a sign that something may be wrong. So, of course, the usual caveat, go see your doctor. Now, in tomorrow's Health Watch, separating medical fact from medical fiction using, you guessed it, the internet. It's everywhere, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Good seeing you. Thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Good seeing you. Good morning.
Good morning to you, too.
Yeah, well, he's bright, chipper.
Yep.
Must be a doctor. It is 27 after 6, 54 degrees. Straight ahead on News 2, team coverage of the crash of EgyptAir Flight 990.
And it is day one for the early show. In our next half hour, Bryant Gumbel will give us a live sneak preview of his return to morning TV.
If you are headed out the door right now for the latest news, traffic, and weather, tune your radio to 1010 Wins. You know what they say, all news all the time.
You're watching News 2 this morning.
Disney on Ice celebrates 75 years of Disney magic, featuring moments from Mulan, A Bug's Life, and The Lion King. A show this big comes around only once in a lifetime, playing Nassau Coliseum and Continental Airlines Arena.
When I was diagnosed with genital herpes, I was devastated. Then I found the power to take charge. I got information. I saw my doctor. I found out about suppressive therapy with Valtrex. Taking Valtrex just once a day helps suppress my genital herpes outbreaks.
Valtrex is the only prescription medication with once daily dosing to suppress genital herpes outbreaks.
I may have genital herpes, but I won't let it get me down.
Call this number for product information and a free trial offer coupon, or ask your doctor about suppression with Valtrex. Remember, even if you don't have symptoms and are on suppressive therapy, it may be possible to spread herpes to others. There is no cure for genital herpes, and remember, Valtrex may not prevent all recurrences. If your immune system is not normal because of advanced HIV disease, bone marrow, or kidney transplant, make sure your doctor knows this to avoid a potentially serious complication. Common side effects are headache, nausea, and abdominal pain.
Information is power. See your doctor. Genital herpes doesn't have to rule your life.
Ask your doctor about suppression with Valtrex.
At MotherNature.com, we drink a lot of coffee.
Organic coffee, because if it's not organic, you don't know.
But this is just
Pure coffee. 1.25 milligrams per bean, 2 cups a day, 7 days a week. That works out to be 4,060.2 thousand milligrams of caffeine per year. No, I don't think I'm drinking too much coffee. Why?
Log on now. Your first purchase is free, up to $20.
When you look at the cost of raising a family today, just making it is quite an accomplishment. But if you're a homeowner behind on your bills, Champion's Clean Slate program can mean the difference between getting by and getting ahead. Clean Slate can reduce your monthly payments by as much as half. It's a chance to breathe, a chance to save, a chance to make your life more livable. Call 1-800-CHAMPION for details. Isn't today a great day for a new beginning? When your bank says no, Champion says yes.
Disney on Ice celebrates 75 years of Disney magic, featuring moments from Mulan, A Bug's Life, and The Lion King. Coming soon to Nassau Coliseum and Continental Airlines Arena.
You are looking at the sunrise over Flushing Bay from Queens. Bienvenidos. Welcome home. It is 6:30, 54 degrees on this Monday, November 1st. Thank you very much for joining us on News 2 this morning. I'm Pablo Guzman.
And I'm Cindy Hsu. In the news, the all-night search for survivors from Flight 990 has come up empty, and things are not looking any brighter as we approach sunrise.
That news is especially tough for the families gathered at a hotel at Kennedy Airport. We have team coverage of this disaster.
And we're going to tell you about the one fortunate man who actually flew on Flight 990 and got off before the crash.
But first, let us get a quick check on the weather with Ira.
All right, the sun has risen and it's going to smile down upon us all day. And look how warm your Monday will be. We'll talk about a forecast, though, that does have some differences in it. It's coming up. Pablo?
Thank you very much, Ira. And now really the main story this morning, the crash of Flight 990. Here's the latest. Searchers in boats pulled more debris from the chilly Atlantic overnight, including escape chutes, but no survivors. Although boats have been out there all night, the air search is only just resuming at this hour as dawn breaks over the debris field. The death toll stands at 217, including at least 3 people from New Jersey. 2 of those people were on their honeymoon. We begin our team coverage with News 2 reporter Michael O'Looney. He is in Nantucket. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Pablo. That air search should be getting underway right about now. Most of the choppers and the planes will be taking off from the Quonset Point Navy base on Rhode Island. The big news overnight, the Coast Guard found 2 of the plane's emergency chutes, but there are no reports that they found any survivors or any additional bodies. EgyptAir Flight 990 bound for Cairo crashed yesterday morning about 52 miles south of Nantucket, 30 minutes after taking off from JFK. All 217 people on board are feared dead, and the Port Authority's Robert Kelly says this will be a difficult operation.
This is not going to be an easy investigation. This is going to require an awful lot of recovery of debris and materials from the ocean bottom.
Navy divers will be joining the search later today. They'll have a tough job. The water at the crash site is anywhere from 250 to 270 feet deep and 55 degrees at the surface. Reporting live from Nantucket, Michael O'Looney, News 2.
Michael, thank you. It's been an agonizing 24 hours for the family and friends of the crash victims as they wait for word about their loved ones. News reporter Emily Francis is live at the Ramada Plaza at Kennedy Airport with that part of the story. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning, Cindy. This morning we are learning more about the identities and the lives of some of the people aboard EgyptAir Flight 990. Among them, at least 3 couples from New Jersey, the parents of a man from Long Island, and an Egyptian woman going home to her 3 children after visiting her husband in the New York area. We're also hearing about a Scotch Plains, New Jersey couple, Willie Jackson and his wife, Mitzi Swank. Jackson was the first black firefighter in Rochester, New Jersey, and they were going on their dream vacation to see the Egyptian pyramids.
It's a gut-wrenching scene that seems like a deja vu. Families breaking down in hysterics after hearing that their loved ones were on the ill-fated EgyptAir Flight 990. At the same time, an army of counselors mobilized at the Ramada Inn to handle the 16 grief-stricken families.
There's been a family assistance room set up where Red Cross counselors and where city officials can meet with families one by one to offer our support and to talk with them about what they're experiencing.
We tried to help them identify some of the people. We tried to get information about people that maybe weren't on the airline. Sometimes if the mayor asks, it happens a little faster.
There are now faces to this tragedy. On the left, 28-year-old Frami Makari. He was returning to his homeland after visiting his sister in Queens. We have also learned that the pilot has local roots.
His sister lives here. I saw her inside, and she's in great pains, and we pray for her, his soul, and for her to be patient.
We know that people on the plane came from all over the country and around the world, and also from a variety of religious backgrounds. Leaders of all faiths offered their comfort to survivors.
Most people are very quiet and subdued, and their pain is written on their faces, and they're just waiting. Some of them just seem a little shell-shocked.
The only thing we have is, as a Muslim would say, we are to God, and we are going back to God.
As of now, there are more than 16 families here, and grief counselors have been on hand throughout the night to try to comfort them. Later this morning, they will be flown to Providence, Rhode Island, where the headquarters is based. Also, within a half an hour, Mayor Giuliani will be holding a news conference to bring us more details, and of course, we will have that information within the hour. Reporting live from the Ramada Plaza Hotel at Kennedy Airport, Emily Francis, News 2.
Thank you very much, Emily. There was one man at Kennedy Airport who was on the plane and got off. News 2 reporter Craig Deborah is at Kennedy with this story. Craig.
Hey, good morning, Pablo. And strangely enough, this man's services were needed almost immediately. Ed McLaughlin is actually a grief counselor for the airline. He helps airlines notify family members of airline accident victims. He got off the ill-fated flight when it landed at Kennedy right before it took off for Cairo, and just 8 hours after the plane went down. Now, McLaughlin spoke to reporters about the crash, but strangely enough, he made no mention he'd even been on the plane.
We worked with EgyptAir to try and help the families in terms of the notification process
their support while they are here on site. Obviously, as Dr. Shanawani said, at the minute we're really struggling just to get everything together and get them the information they need. At this point in time, better than 80 families have been notified. 80. That number, I wouldn't put it down in your books because it's going to change every minute. The process is going to keep rolling along. We're doing as best we can, trying to get the word out to everybody, and families are arriving at the hotel up the street.
Now, McLaughlin appears to be the only passenger that got off at Kennedy yesterday, a rather early Sunday morning. Now, here's more about the airline itself. EgyptAir is actually a state-run airline founded in 1932 as Mizr Airwork. EgyptAir currently has a fleet of 38 planes and flies to some 85 airports around the world. Critics have long called for the privatization of the company amid reports of bad management and poor service. It is known throughout for tight security. Armed security guards are routinely on board EgyptAir flights, and after passengers go through the normal airport checks, they are searched again just before boarding the aircraft. However, even with the extra security, the hijacker was able to slip on board an EgyptAir flight less than 2 weeks ago, but the incident ended without casualties. Now, we have word that Mayor Giuliani is set to give a press conference later on this morning, and then at 10 o'clock, perhaps from this room, NTSB officials are here to brief reporters on the latest about Flight 990. From JFK, Craig Debrow, News 2.
Thank you very much, Craig. You stay with News 2 and CBS for continuing coverage of the crash of EgyptAir Flight 990.
All right, at 6:37 now, 54 degrees. Time for an update on traffic. Here's Clark Logan.
Okay, good morning, you both. We're going to go outside. What we do have is just some volume to point out to you. It's going to get a little rough around the New Jersey Turnpike. Here's a live picture of it just around interchange 16, getting up towards the Lincoln Tunnel and, of course, the Route 3 entrance. Now, in the center of your screen is where all the volume is trying to get you off the Turnpike into Route 3. We have a toll plaza right there, and that is what's causing a lot of the backup. But once you get onto Route 3 itself, trying to get across the Berries Creek Bridge is going to prove to be just a little difficult this morning. Also, as we jump to Staten Island, we're going to show you some very slow-moving traffic. Once we get across the Verrazano Bridge on the southbound BQE, just around the Kosciuszko Bridge, we do have an accident working there. And on the northbound side of the FDR Drive, this is going to be on the east side of Manhattan, obviously, at 114th Street. That earlier accident has been confirmed, and we do have delays getting you up towards the Harlem River Drive this morning. Your street cleaning rules for today and tomorrow, both suspended. And Pablo and Cindy, we'll throw it back to you both.
All right, Clark, thank you. 6:38, 54 degrees. Ahead on News 2 this morning, Jane Clayson gives us a tour of the early show, which is coming your way at the top of the hour. Plus, we're going to talk live with Bryant Gumbel and Jane about what they're working on for this morning's premiere.
And stay tuned for a check on the forecast. Ira, are we going to have another warm, beautiful day?
Yes, we are. And then things really change. You won't want to miss a single word or digit in the forecast ahead.
News 2, sponsored by Horizon Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Jersey.
No matter what's on your horizon, now there's Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey.
During Spirit's 10th anniversary, we're taking off with high-flying savings and new service. From Newark, now fly to West Palm Beach, plus Fort Lauderdale or Orlando. From Islip, there's also new service to Orlando. Or fly to Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, or West Palm Beach. From LaGuardia, choose Fort Lauderdale or Melbourne, Florida. Call your travel agent or Spirit Airlines at 1-800-772-7117.
Catch the spirit of Spirit Airlines.
I love my job, but being sweet and wonderful all day takes a lot out of you. Excuse me. Clouds. So, when it's snack time, I feel I deserve something sweet and wonderful in return, like these Philadelphia snack bars.
The delicious taste of cheesecake in a clever little bar.
Oh. Up here we recycle.
New Philadelphia snack bars.
There it is, the new studios at the GM building for the early show. The new early show right here on CBS 2. Bryant Gumbel is coming back to the morning scene along with CBS newcomer Jane Clayson. She gave News 2 anchor Lisa Cooley a personal tour of Studio 58.
Jane, this is your new home. This is it. It's finally ready. You like it? I think it's really turned out very nicely. Controlled chaos. There's a lot of people going on. Well, they've been working around the clock, you know, for weeks and weeks and weeks, especially the last week or two. Right.
Jane Clayson will be setting her alarm clock for 4 a.m. Mondays through Fridays. In the new Studio 58, there's a lot of finishing touches going on. A few more rehearsals throughout the weekend and plenty of meetings.
And then we're going to have interviews over here, right? This is the interview set over here. Mr. Gumbel, Mr. Friedman. Very busy.
Construction crews put up the last of the cables, wires, and monitors, tweaking lights and sound. Jane shows me her favorite part of the studio.
That is the plaza right behind us here. Yeah. Isn't that nice?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
We'll have concerts and displays and all sorts of things out there. At the touch of a button, we can make these windows opaque. So that if we're talking about something sensitive or serious, we can have an appropriate setting for it. This is really an opportunity for us to come forward with something that we think is going to be terrific. We have a great cast of contributors and folks that I think people will really like, that we'll really warm up to, and I'm so excited to sit next to Bryant. I really am. He's a great guy. He's an obsessive golfer, but other than that, it's okay.
Do you know how to golf?
No.
You're going to know by the time it's all over.
Right.
Lisa Cooley, News 2.
It is 6:42, and Ira Joe Fisher is going to give you a look at what's happening with the weather. Ira.
Our normal high this time of year, Pablo, good morning to you and Cindy as well, and you too, is 60 degrees. Today we're going to exceed that by about 10 in the city. Right now, let's check our temperatures. We're talking 40s and 50s, an incredibly mild Monday morning, and we'll have lots of sunshine this morning. We'll have lots of sunshine throughout the day as well, and again, temperatures are going to climb well up into the upper 60s too in the city, 70 degrees. Even inland, you'll see 70 degrees. It's going to be unusually mild for this time of year. Now, our 5-day forecast, okay, it looks like this. Sunny today and a high of 70 degrees. Tomorrow, another mild one. 69 will be the forecast high. Clouds will increase, a chance of showers late in the day. And on Wednesday, it's cloudy all day with a chance of rain heavy at times. And on Thursday, we start out with clouds. It stays windy. It'll slowly clear. And on Friday, sunny. Cindy, Pablo?
All right, Ira, thank
you.
Now, joining us to talk about the early show, Jane Clayson and Bryant Gumbel. Good morning.
Good morning, Cindy.
guys.
Hi, Pablo.
Hi, how you doing, Bryant?
I'm all right, thank you.
Jane, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, how was it getting up early again?
You know, it's not that big a deal. It really, I mean, you know, sleep's terribly overrated.
4 hours here last night, that's all.
Now, Jane, we were talking, you're a CBS newcomer, but you've been a long-time ABC correspondent out in the field. How is it for you? Bryant's used to this 4 a.m. wake-up call.
Yeah, he is used to it. I was right out of bed this morning, I'll tell you, though.
Were you really? Didn't have a second alarm?
Didn't have a second alarm. Nope.
Bryant,
Didn't
looking
need one.
forward, if I may interject for a moment, looking forward to your conversation with the president.
Yeah, Pablo, we had a good visit yesterday inside the Oval Office with Mr. Clinton just before he boarded Air Force One to Oslo, and we talked about the peace talks that'll be going on there. We also talked some politics about his wife's campaign, his vice president's campaign, and of course we got his thoughts on EgyptAir 990 too.
All right,
Well,
Bryant Gumbel.
bienvenidos and mazel.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
We'll see you in about 15 minutes.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
It is now 6:44, 54 degrees. Ahead on News 2, a check on this morning's business news.
An update on our top story, the crash of Flight 990.
News 2, sponsored by PSEG. We make things work for you.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks. What are the machines doing on this early?
They've been on for the last 72 hours.
Why?
We got the
Canadian order. That's huge. How are we going to fill that?
Hey, sounds like we just did.
All right.
PSEG, we make things work for you.
At Fortunoff's White Sale, give your home a new look and save. Every white goose down comforter is on sale, starting at $99.99. It's Fortunoff's incredible white sale. Don't miss it.
Do you know what your money is doing right now? What if you could put it to work? Start by saving money on internet access and investing it with JB Oxford. We're the only discount brokerage that gives you free internet access. Don't pay hundreds for the internet. Call 1-800-JB-OXFORD. Please, put your money to work.
For each doubt, confidence. For each struggle, relief. For each child, success. If your child needs help with school, call Sylvan Learning Center at 1-800-EDUCATE. One call can help your child succeed.
Honey, can you bring home the milk?
I will pick it up myself. Kyle, pick up some milk. Oh, and bacon.
Some milk and bacon, yeah. Hey, Dad said to bring home some bacon, beef jerky, and some pizza, all right? Whatever. Love you, sis.
Mom said to get some pizza, some fat-free lemon sorbet, diet root beer, some nail polish remover, and some...
Introducing the AT&T Family Plan. Unlimited local wireless calls between family. Up to 5 wireless phones plus your home phone.
Kyle!
Talk all you want. Your family.
At Fortunoff's White Sale, give your home a new look and save. Free installation with any custom window treatment by Hunter Douglas. It's Fortunoff's incredible white sale. Don't miss it.
Good morning, 647, 54 degrees, a live picture of big backups on the FDR. Joe Bierman is flying over the scene in Chopper 2. Joe, what's happening?
Well, Cindy, as we had clued you a little earlier, and Clark had filled you in, this is the northbound FDR Drive, right at about 116th Street. It was a bad one-car accident. You can see the front of the, looks like maybe a BMW is all smushed up there. Now, the good news is a tow truck has just arrived, but the bad news is northbound FDR Drive, 2 lanes are closed, and we're bumper to bumper leaving Midtown all the way up to 116th Street. It's also getting some southbound rubbernecking delays, so delays on the east side this morning. We'll keep you advised on all the breaking news. Pablo, Cindy?
Thank you very much. I like the inside jargon. The front is all mushed up there. Here's a look at our top stories this morning.
Search crews are finding more debris from Flight 990. The EgyptAir plane crashed into the Atlantic early Sunday morning. 217 people were on board the flight. A senior Coast Guard officer says they're still looking for possible survivors, but officials admit the chances of surviving this long in 58-degree water are slim.
Families who had loved ones aboard Flight 990 are gathered at the Ramada at JFK as they wait for word. The Red Cross has set up grief counselors for the family members. Chaplains and Muslim clerics are also on hand to lend their support.
There is a special telephone number set up for people who had a family member on board Flight 990. The EgyptAir Passenger Assistance Hotline is 1-800-243-1094. This number is only for family members of passengers on Flight 990. Number again is 1-800-243-1094. It is 6:49, 54 degrees. Up next, we're going to have business news this morning live from Bloomberg.
And we'll check weather and traffic together. Stay with us.
We've had a very informative tour. So, what did we learn on our field trip today? Sterling.
That everyone in New York City should recycle.
That's right. What else?
And we should use the blue bin and the green bin.
Excellent. Lexi.
The less garbage there is, the better it is for everyone.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions for the guest speaker? Jeremy.
Can I slide down the stairs?
Keep recycling, New York City. With your help, it's all falling into place.
Yeah, it's gonna be a special night. Finally, some time alone. Mom's got the kids.
Introducing Campbell's Select, a line of sophisticated soups like chicken and pasta with roasted garlic or tomato garden. For those special evenings when it's just the two of you.
Have a good trip.
You and a bowl of Campbell's Select.
We have to do this more often.
Want something special made just for you? We have a soup for that. Introducing Campbell's Select.
From the 1930s through the 70s, men and women worked hard to keep America strong in shipyards, powerhouses, and construction throughout New York. They were unaware of the silent killer, asbestos, that gave many of them mesothelioma, lung cancer, or asbestosis. If you are an asbestos victim or a surviving relative, call Whites and Luxembourg at 1-888-411-LAWS for a consultation and booklet. Whites and Luxembourg, setting the standard in asbestos litigation for over a decade.
I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy for the drive-thru. And I'm too sexy for my car seat. Too sexy for the groceries. Too sexy for the dry cleaning. Introducing the newly updated Camry. So stylish it could go to your head. I'm too sexy for the slow lane. Too sexy for the neighbors. Too sexy for the car wash. Too sexy.
The Bloomberg Business Report, sponsored by your Toyota dealer. Visit us online at driveatoyota.com.
Beautiful picture, live picture from Chopper 2 of the GW Bridge. It is 6:51, 54 degrees. Time now to check business news on this Monday morning. Let's go live to Vince Lipari at Bloomberg. Good morning, Vince.
Good morning, Cindy. Well, today we'll see how more economic news moves the markets. We get the National Association of Purchasing Managers Manufacturing Index. That's an indicator of economic growth. Now, tomorrow, the man who moves the markets, Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan, will speak at a bankers conference, and we'll also get numbers on personal spending and, of course, the all-important October jobs report, and that will be on Friday. Now, some investors say that Cobalt Networks is the IPO to watch this week. The company makes server appliances that run the Linux operating system. And will the jury that will decide how much tobacco companies will pay out in compensatory damages begins deliberations today. It involves a class action suit in Florida against Philip Morris, R.J. Reynolds, and other tobacco companies. Analysts say damages could amount in the billions of dollars. And it's a pretty historic day in the financial world. For the first time ever, two companies that are traded on the NASDAQ are being added to the prestigious Dow Jones Industrial Average. Microsoft and Intel will be joined by Home Depot and SBC Communications as the latest members of the Dow. Among this morning's stocks to watch, Oxford Health Plans, one of the biggest New York area health insurers, said that President William Sullivan resigned after more than a decade with the company to pursue other interests. He was one of the few senior managers remaining who held an executive position under founder and former chairman Stephen Wiggins. Most of the company's top management were replaced after Oxford's share price sank 2 years ago amid a profit warning. Some modest gains in the Pac Rim overnight. The Nikkei rose 54 points while the Hang Seng edged up 65 points. Right now, spot gold continues to go down $5.33 at 293.88, and it looks like an up open on Wall Street later this morning. From Bloomberg headquarters in Midtown, I'm Vince Lipari for News 2. Back to you, Cindy and Pablo.
Thank you. It is 6:53, 7 before 6. Time, let's check now for traffic and weather. Start with Ira.
All right, Pablo, let's talk about looking first at our radar picture. You see a bit of a spritz of rain. That's off to the south, and beyond the view of the radar is what was Tropical Storm Katrina, is now a tropical depression. A lot of rain, and yet it's lost a lot of its velocity and winds, and it's going to feed its moisture into this system, which will in turn feed its moisture into a forming cold front. That's going to move into our area, and as we look closer at our little old weather map here, we're going to see some rain come, well, later on tomorrow. Right now, we're talking about plenty of sunshine for today. High temperatures incredibly mild, 70 in the city, upper 60s beyond town. And here's our 5-day forecast. Increasing clouds for tomorrow. Ultimately, some rain by later in the day, and a high again 69 degrees, and it'll be windy. On Wednesday, cloudy all day, rain all day, and it could be heavy at times in places. Still windy, but cooler, 50. And on Thursday, only 49 degrees and windy. And on Friday, mostly sunny. The winds should begin to calm down, and a high of only 52. Oh, my goodness. It'll feel like November. Let's go back up to Joe Bierman in Chopper 2.
Good morning, Ira Joe. We're checking out your commute coming across the inbound George Washington Bridge. Normal delays coming into the tolls. The upper level's a little heavier coming across. But if you're headed out the door right now, you want to know that the east side, the FDR Drive, is real heavy both directions down to 116th Street. As you come across the bridge, you might want to decide on the West Side Highway this morning. That'll save you a few minutes as you make your trek down into Midtown. We'll keep you advised on all the breaking news. Now let's check with Clark Logan and get some more traffic.
Good morning, Joe. Thanks so much. We are also going to talk about some parts in New Jersey as we go outside and check out another live picture for you. This one's going to be just around, you see the stadium there gently in the background. This traffic is exiting at 16W, and that's where a lot of volume is going to be. Just trying to get you onto Route 3 this morning. Also in this same general area on the northbound Garden State Parkway, we do have an accident, and that one sits around exit 144. Off to LaGuardia Airport, we're going to see the volume on the westbound side is relatively light as you go into the BQE. Now, the BQE southbound still cleaning up an accident at the Kosciuszko Bridge, so if you have to get into that section of Queens, perhaps towards the lower East River crossings, the FDR Drive will be a little bit better for you. And they have cleared an earlier accident, so that is the good news. Back a little bit to the Kew Gardens interchange. This is just an earlier picture of the Grand Central Parkway. You can see traffic relatively light there as well. Now, your street cleaning rules for New York City, they are suspended for today and tomorrow. Meter parking, though, still in effect. Transit on or close. Pablo, Cindy, back to you both.
Clark, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
6:56, let's see, 54 degrees. The early show is coming up next. Here's Bryant and Jane with a preview.
I'm Bryant Gumbel.
And I'm Jane Clayson.
Here's what's coming up on the early show. President Clinton talks about his presidency and the legacy he hopes to leave behind. We'll have that as well as the latest on the loss of EgyptAir Flight 990.
Plus, Mark McEwen sits down with superstar Mel Gibson for an exclusive interview on the set of his new film, The Patriots.
Those stories and more are coming up on the early show.
A lot of folks going to be checking that out. Stay with us throughout the day for our continuing coverage of the crash of Flight 990.
And if you're headed out the door right now for the latest news, traffic, and weather, tune your radio to 1010 Wins. All news, all the time. Stay tuned now for the early show.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Toyota. Real values every day at your Toyota dealer. Visit us online at driveatoyota.com.